all your house cleaners all over all over your desk. Okay, let's start this off. Da 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 da. What's my good cheer? Welcome, everybody. Sometimes, I look at my desk and I think, oh, it's just gonna have to do. And then you take a second look and you go, oh my goodness, what is my audience watching all week last week? They were looking at my great big upright summer fan that was sitting on my coffee table behind me. And I just let it ride all week. Just now I just stopped and oh my goodness, all my Windex and sanitizing things. I was cleaning my desk, right? My first day back in that job that puts the roof over my head. It is a different energy, but at the same time, when I walk in that door at night, that energy that I gave to that job that puts the roof over my head, that's done. It's all for me. And so when I open up that door, right? I like to see it nice and clean and organized and look forward to coming and sitting in my chair. Oh my goodness, I'm so excited. I thought I broke my office chair. It is old, but what great quality. This is a steel case office chair. I've had it for, oh my goodness, over 10 years now. And it served me so well. But yesterday I went and pushed a button. I ended up practically sitting on the floor. My chin was on my desk as I was doing my live. And I go, oh, I guess I got to add an office chair into the budget, right? And just flipped it upside down, pushed a button, and it was back to normal. So grateful. The week is starting off good in that job that puts the roof over my head. I'm so grateful for it because it allows me to arrange my life, to schedule my life in a way that is serving me so well. Serving, I think, epigenetically, going down generations, going to serve so well. But at the same time, because I'm building this brand of mine, I'm sharing a lot of it here in these conversations. And I try to keep them light because I understand that a lot of these conversations, a lot of people aren't going to get. And at the very least, I'd like to say, oh, that's Cindy, that silly girl. I'll come back tomorrow. Maybe I'll get a little bit better. Right. And lots of times I come to the table. Lots of times I come into my live show fresh out of a lesson. Philosophy. Brand new one for me, you guys. Philosophers. Oh my goodness. The magicians. Like King's Court. Like these are subjects that are coming across my path and because, right, I explore the inside and the outside and some of those passions of mine, Mother Nature and history, right? It allows me to really enjoy some of the lessons that I understand. Like I just said, epigenetically, I believe that I'm helping the generations moving forward, right? And at the same time, because I didn't get a lot of lessons and because I don't have a problem going backwards, right? The past cannot hurt me in this moment. Only if I allow it to affect me emotionally or mentally can the past affect me. It is in the past, but in the past, oh my goodness, it's like looking at a history lesson, right? And if you have that passion for history, right? Maybe for you it's not difficult to go back into those uncomfortable those moments, right? Some of those relationships, those dynamic relationships that we have that impacted us so much that created the people that we are. And truly it does. I mean, there are many aspects of ourselves, but we have to carry some of that along with us too, because right, we grew up in that. That was the culture, that was the tradition, that was the programming, right? And each one of us in our choices gets to decide how much we're going to take in, how much we're going to tolerate, and how much we're not going to tolerate. And each one of those and those choices is going to send us down a different path. And in those strengths and resiliences and those lessons that we've gotten previously, it's going to dictate where we're going next. I should have thought so, but it's interesting and it's fun. And even if I keep this information as just information, as additions to those passions and those interests that I have in history, mythology, that kind of stuff. It never turned my crank. But I suspect that if I were to delve into it, right, we all love a good story. We all love a good story, especially that reflects in our own life. And, and even though it's a good story to me, it might be super impactful to somebody else. So just having that as information, right? I don't know. I follow where my interests lead me, and in this moment, philosophy might last a week. It might last a month. It might impact me so much because it leads me into something that serves me and serves others somewhere down the road. That right, I might allow that to be my greatest passion. Who's to say? It's in my choices, and in my choices, that's going to dictate the lessons and the difficulty and the pain and the frustration. Right? Why couldn't I just dreamed up laying on the beach with a pina colada? Because it's not my interest. I'm laughing at that, but it's so true. It's not my thing. Don't send me down to Hawaii and have me lay on the beach in a bikini drinking pina colada. That's not my thing. I love the water, but there are lots of places in the world where I could just even in the swimming pool, even in my bathtub, where I could have that enjoyment of being in the water. And yes, it's a different landscape, a beautiful landscape, beautiful sea green water and big beautiful skies and beautiful people, palm trees, right? Magnificent. But if you give me a choice, I'd rather be up in a tent, up by a lake in a forest, right? With trails. And that is in the culture, the programming, and in our passions, what we're drawn to. And sometimes we're lucky enough to be drawn into those passions that we had no idea that we were going to enjoy, right? I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be a great philosopher, right? I'm not even sure if the interest is going to stick with me, but the lessons dictate it. And I understand a lot of these lessons are in mirroring to other lessons in other cultures and other traditions and something that I might better relate to. And that's happened many times that I've bumbled on to the most amazing mentorships, leadership, understandings, because it wasn't necessarily the person that I stepped in to that woke me up to one little idea, but it's where that one little idea that takes me, and maybe that's the place I'm supposed to be. And if that's not the place to be, that idea that I get from them, right? And it just side branches. You guys, it's fun, but it's fun for me because it is in my interest and it's in those lessons that I find so pulling in my life, right? And where it goes, I have no idea, right? In this moment, it doesn't seem like it's a big need to be understood, right? I just keep following my interests and right, no hiccups along the way. And I suspect those would be the indicators to say, okay, different branch. Most definitely. Okay, you guys, we only got a couple of minutes. Just a quick perspective on a card that we're going to pick here. Let's lead us into my work week, right? And hopefully this will help somebody else in getting started or ending off in a week that maybe didn't right start off on the right foot. I know I've done that many times. I did that this week, or I gave too much attention to something and it turned out to be nothing. Okay, you guys, here's the card. Compassion. What a good word. And the first thing that popped into my mind is that balance. And we were talking about the balance a little bit yesterday. In the job that I do, I have I have a part of my job that I'm not a big fan of, and that is in the controlling of the shoplifters in the little thrift store that puts the roof over my head in the moment. It breaks my heart to call them out and to scoot them out the door and to have that negative, authoritative, rah, 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 kind of attitude, to scoot them out the door, because most of these people are homeless. Lots of these people, they come in with 40 below zero and they got a blanket wrapped around their shoulders, right? Not wearing the proper clothing, not taking care of their set themselves hygienically, and the down and out ofness is the worst part. The way they come in and their heads are bowed and they're looking at the ground, and they're going to try and score something, and right, and they know the right difference between right and wrong. It's why their head is on the ground, and it puts us in a position, right? But that's the compassion, because right, I don't get the say in that, because I work for another organization, another company that has policy and rules and stuff. And so it's in that balance of being able to do that job that I know I have to do, but to do it in a way that maybe doesn't save face in a person, because there's no lesson in that, right? We're trying to draw them away from doing those kind of things altogether, but it is a process, and sometimes if you could just walk by the counter and say, can I have this, or right, or not to make that big scene, or say those terrible things in front of the customers, or directed to us, or right, put us in a position where we worry about our safety or the safety of the people around us, right? That would be grateful, and that would be recognized. And sometimes in that compassion, we have to think that way. We think of the possibility, how it could work out when they came out to the counter, rather than jumping down their throat automatically and scoping them out and following them around. And right, it is in that allowance to let somebody else feel like they're a human being, right? And that's the balance, right? And that's what I work towards all the time, understanding it's right, not always my call, but in how we present it, that's 100% me. Especially if I'm running the show, if that's my responsibility, right? We can all find another way. Why? Because we know the difference between right and wrong. Okay, you guys, I gotta run off to work in that job that puts the roof over my head. That was a good little word. That truly was, for me to start off in the day. I hope it's not just a signal as to what I'm in for today. It would be nice if it was a nice, pleasant day, and I expect that it will, with no issues or problems. And everybody who walks in the store has a smile on their face, and when they leave the store, they have just a bigger smile on their face. Okay, you guys, have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye bye.